Elite A plant, we're raising the profile in lifting and handling, taking a more realistic but achievable approach. You know, the problem we've got is we've only got to lift or shift something slightly wrong, and that increases the pressure on the body. Unfortunately, the body, it doesn't have the mechanism to tell us each time we lift wrong, only when we've done it too many times. So if we're doing that again and again and the body's not telling us, this pressure is building up and up until such times we feel discomfort or even pain. This program is looking at some principles born out of Olympic weightlifting, which when adopted takes that pressure off your body on a daily basis and therefore reduces the risk of injury to us. But you know, it's nice to have a basic understanding of how that pressure actually builds up in the first place. For example, slip discs or sciatica. Do you really know how that works?
Here's a section of our spine. The part we're interested in is the disc, the brown bit in between each of the bones. It acts as a shock absorber to the spine. Imagine each disc as a jam donut. The shock absorbers work perfectly when we apply pressure correctly. But look what happens when we don't. It's up to you to ensure your jam stays in the middle of your donut. And the only way we can do this is to lift correctly. Prevention is better than cure.
So the principles we're looking at, our first one, we refer to this about lifting inside our base. This is the distance we can create between our feet. What we've got to avoid doing at all times is picking anything up outside base. How many times we say that? Do you know, if you do that, whatever weight that is, double it. And that's the minimum pressure on the back of the body. It's heavy enough, some of this kit. And all you've got to do is get it inside base. And it's cracking when you're lifting from ground level because it naturally promotes you just to unlock the knee. And that's all you've got to do. Don't go squatting all the way down. I ain't getting back up if I get down there, guys, I tell you. Just there, like that. Now, the second principle is starting any movement from the floor with what we call our big engines. It's a bit like Olympic weightlifting, right? What you do there, your arm only connects you to the bar, you push down with your feet. So it ensures a perfect lift. Think of pushing the floor away. So it's there, but push the floor away. So it's absolutely guaranteed lift. The third one is about shifting the foot. Do you know one of the biggest causes of back pain is twisting with the load? Something you can do all day, every day without even thinking about it. Yet simply by just shifting that foot, you're turning instead of twisting. So we've got inside base, use your big engines and shift your foot. The fourth one, that relates to pushing and pulling. Now, the key principles here is getting the foot forward, but the front foot has got to face the channel that I'm pushing or pulling in. See, if that's my channel there, but my feet's facing that way, you can see how I'm starting with a twist. Foot facing and always two hands. And it's a dip and a drive to start the movement. If we're pulling something, not a bad idea to have a bit of a squint behind you. Make sure there's no slip or trip hazards. Two hands, dip and drive to start the movement. If we're pushing exactly the same, foot facing, two hands, dip and drive to start the movement. The amount of drive you need is dependent upon the load. If it's something quite light and easy moving, it's kind of more like leaning into it. We've got to be sensible, haven't we, lads? But if it's something heavy, like all of them, it's a dip and a progressive application of force. So it's there, and I'm trying to push that floor down again there. So it's there, and I'm... Because if I max out and it don't move, we stop and we seek assistance. But I ain't hurt myself trying. Inside base, big engines, shift the foot, dip and drive. Come on, let's see how we can apply those four key principles to all of these tasks. Well, one of the biggest problems we're presented with is straight lines. And it's amazing how many times we are. Because what it does, it promotes you to approach it in a straight line. So as soon as you come to pick something up, it's got to be outside the base. So whatever you're picking up is doubling the weight, and then normally a twist. We've got to break that straight line down. And there's only two ways we do that. One, we step over it. Imagine like the corner of a pallet. If you work from the corners, you've broke the straight line down, haven't you? Or two, bring the item over it. And that's the one we do more often than not. But that's a pulling action. And what did we just say it was? Foot facing and two hands. So if you're taking this, some of these Hiltis can be weighty. There, it's a pull, tilt, and then a take. And you know something, guys, you do that at normal pace, it doesn't take any extra time. But what we're not doing is grabbing the free handle there, outside base and swinging it down. Same as underneath, look there. Pull, tilt, and then away. It's there. It's inside base. The amount of times I've seen guys come up and go, whoa! Outside base, all the pressure. Here, there, you know, head's coming second. Let's have a look for it. Spatial awareness in it. There, there, there. So it's always over base. And these have got to be my favourite, man. They're not light. All you got to do is there, I'm now over base and I've got it. Same as working at a bench. There's your straight line again. Do you know the one weight we often forget about is our own body weight? If I asked you to stand like that for 3 minutes, I bet you say rude words to me. Because you'd feel the pressure strike off. But look, we're doing it. So if you're ever working at a bench, the best thing to do is come at it like a sort of 45-degree angle, because if you're working there, body weight's over base because you've extended it. And it's a real powerful position at that angle because you can get stuck right into things. Taking stuff on and off, it's the same as that, isn't it? There, there, over the base, putting stuff back, one end down. I've now got hardly any weight. Pushing, foot facing. See how the principles are coming together? Here, this is what I was talking about. See, the pallet, the straight line, and again it's, you know, these are quite light, but if that's stuck or jammed in the R, bang, and that's how we get hurt. Just from the corner there, work from the corner. These, bit heavier, but that's what we do. That's outside the base, so double the weight of it, and then we give it a, that's gotta hurt. Look, there, pull it, we're now from the corner there, got a hold of it, bang, and then away. And the other thing as well, you know, if you tip it like that and get a grip there, from there, it's now not blocking my feet for walking, and it's quite a good height. But a lot of the times what I see, guys, is this. There, so now I've got it from there, it's in my feet, and you've got to do that with the back to try and get it on some kind of vehicle or something. So always trying to get it from underneath there, keeps the feet from walking nice and free, and you're at a good level to whack it on the back of a flatbed or something like that, yeah? Look at here, the brick, see again, it's one of them, right outside the base. And as the distance increases, so does the weight ratio. So that's now about 3 times the weight. Stick your foot down here, get hold of it from there. I'm now inside the base. And if you was ever putting it down on a pallet, again, you would shift that there, so let's push that up there. And if you're sticking it down, work from the corner. Pull it, tilt it, bring the item over. Got to break that straight line down, guys. I know we're talking about lifting and shifting, but it's all that bigger picture in it about safety, my safety. And that's, first and foremost, that's what I'm interested in. And I ask myself, can I pass my safety every single day? And I actually use the word pass. P stands for PPE. Have I got the right PPE for the place I'm in and the job I'm doing? And not only have I got it, is it in good condition? you know, high vis, that ain't high vis, it ain't doing the job, is it? And the clue's kind of in the title, personal protective. It's protecting me. The A is assessing the environment. You know, and I think that's up, middle and down. Weather conditions, we're out there in all sorts of weather. Anything that moves, vehicles, trucks, fork trucks, everything that's moving around. Outside, kiddies can come at you from anywhere on push bikes. And the terrain. And look at this. And that leads me nicely into that S. If you see something wrong, sort it or report it. You know, we don't always have time to sort it, but we've got time to report it, because this ain't right, is it? I haven't staged this. Look, this is the walkway. I'm walking round that. If I trip on that, look at these here. The spikes in that, crack me head on that. It's not right, is it? We can sort this out. We're better than this. Well, the final S, by the way, is everything in A plant has a safe system to work. All we need to do is note and follow it. And I'll tell you what a team player we're going to be then. We're all going home safe. Back to lifting though, eh? Look there's the straight line again, isn't it? And this is real. It'll come in like this off the rails over a weekend or something like that. It's not the stable as the loads, is it? So you're shifting something, you've got to be mindful of something else falling on you. But this stuff, there, the little tilt, see, that little tilt or the little movement is your dynamic risk assessment. Get big word in. What does it mean in my language? Tells you how heavy it is. Yeah, I can shift that inside the base, carried in a balanced manner. And if we're sticking stuff down, always inside the base. Blocking tackles, outside base, inside base. That one there, that one, I guarantee you, they pick it up outside base because that's in the way. Shift that first. In fact, do you know, a tidy shop's a happy shop. If that weren't there, we'd get at it. This is wrong on every level. We are definitely better than that. Oh, do you know, I'd love to say we live in the perfect world, but we do live in a real one, and bits and pieces like this happen, you know. Sort it or report it. 2 seconds, being that team player. Straight line again, innit? It's them rude words again. But look, 45-degree angle there, body weight over base. I think what I'm saying here is, no matter where we're working, always avoid having your feet in line, because you've got to go outside base, so you pivot from here, so all the pressure goes here. But if you've always got that foot forward, even putting the hand down, if you've got some sleeves on, a pad there, that's another way of extending the base, just so you're always working inside of it. Up here as well. If you're working at height, doing that, height break, the pressure's there, it's always this inside the base there, so you're working. And if you cannot reach, go and get a suitable platform. It's none of this tiptoe stuff. Obviously, if you're taking these pins out, this is going to be supported. Ground level, unlock the knees more. Oh, knees are one. Working on the knees. Now, if you're going to be working on knee on a hard surface, knees coming second. Always knee pads or a soft surface. But never ever work off 2 knees. See, because then everything's outside the base. If you're going to work off 1 knee because you've extended the base and you can move, and that is a right powerful position to be in. But get that knee pad on, because knee on a concrete definitely comes second. But let's not forget the first rule of lifting and handling. Get your mate to do it. And the best mate you'll ever get is a piece of equipment or machinery. They never seem to shout ouch like what we do. But you know, even though we've got this kit and we use it, manual handling still has a role to play in it. Shifting it, pushing and pulling, getting this out, there, foot facing joints, dip and drive. Not a bad idea to take the brake off before you do it. But you know, that just tells you about the point, isn't it? If I'm in the right position and I can't shift it, I'm not going to get hurt. But the amount of times people's doing, and we wonder why we get hurt. Dip and drive to start the movement. Pushing, dip and drive to start that movement. Let's take the brake back on. There's more, look. Cracking bit of kit. But again, raising the load, all of that there, all the pressure's here and here. Inside base, larger muscles of the chest and shoulders. But if you're doing that, always make sure the load is secure. Pump that up, they start rolling off, and you've got to start and pick those rams up. They are heavy. But if we're shifting this, pushing and pulling in it, foot facing, 2 hands, dip and drive. Transferring kit from one pallet, messy pallet, nice and tidy. One of the problems is if we get that too close, there's such a tendency we just grab the stuff with. It's like your feet are bolted to the deck. Outside base, twisting, outside base. Do you know, if you just have that back a tad, Sean, just take it back, will you, mate? That's that way. Just go on, mate, slow. That's lovely. Bit further, mate. Go on. Whoa, lovely. That's cracking. Cheers. Drop it down, pal. Thanks, Sean. If you've got a bit of a distance between, it allows you to get a hold of stuff and actually shift the feet. So then you can actually work from the corners. And if you're putting stuff, a little dip and a drive there, rather than trying putting stuff down, if you do that, you've got no weight of it, but you're controlling it down. So it gives you time now to shift that foot. Sean's probably took it back a bit too far, but in there's cracking. As long as you've got room to turn and it stops people, they just cannot reach though, can they? So it promotes good technique instead of bad one. Chucking the kit on the flatbed. Well, again, from the floor, it's got to be inside the base. But we mentioned this earlier, didn't we? Look, the little tilt there, get it from the base here, because then as I push the floor down, I'm driving, get one end down, then you don't have the weight of it. But none of this business, outside, because we're too lazy to drop the sides. Right. It's all about getting it over base here. There, over the base, good grip, push the floor down, get one end down, you don't have the full weight of it, and then we're pushing it into place. Obviously as a driver you're responsible for your load, you've got to make sure it's all tidy and strapped in. Here we are, you've got to get inside base ways because they're heavy, so it's there, push down with the floor. I'm joking, man. Hey, you know, you probably can lift it, should you? Why? What do we say that first rule of lifting and handle was? Get your best mate, and they don't come any better than that. But lifting still has a role to play, pushing and pulling. This business here, and if I'm doing that, and that hits any uneven surface and jars, it's not a natural position. That's why you get handcuffed behind your back. It's not normal. Don't do it. Foot facing, 2 hands. Great when it's got wheels on, even better still. There. But before I get on there, I've got to have the side up and the strap on. That's working at height. We know that by now, so let's get that done. Another straight line again, innit? Like that. Sticks or jams. Do you know, getting it from the corners there, driving it, and then driving it. We get our strap in, we can take that, and handling that on there is exactly on the ground level. Foot facing for push and pulling, inside base for lifting and lowering. But always make sure you take all the kit and you don't leave out behind. Don't know about you lads, bit parched, time for a brew, eh?